What's up, everyone? This is Teriyaki, and I'll be recording a speed draw of Eevee and Pikachu from the new game Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. So, let's get started. So, I always start off with a sketch. I did this sketch in Procreate. So it always records really fast, and I couldn't get it to slow down. So, we're gonna work with that. But I usually start with a bunch of circles and then kind of scribble everything in, and I add like triangles and shapes to really get myself imagining all of like the fluff and the ears, tail. So this is just me sketching everything out. And I got Pokemon Eevee. And to be honest, it's been really fun. Like, I've been playing it probably for like 2 days now. I'll say more than that, probably like 3 or 4 days. And to me, it's like every other Pokemon game. It's just the only difference is the fact that you can't battle wild Pokemon, which has really turned out not to be a big deal. It's a different thing, but the main thing I like about it is the fact that you can catch these Pokemon, send them to Professor Oak, and he'll give you candy in which you can give to your Pokemon and like level up their attack stats and defense stats and all that. And I'm digging the difference. So it's been fun playing that. And I've been hooked on it probably for the past ever since I got it. So right now I'm starting the line art, and I switched programs. At first I was drawing on the iPad on a Procreate, and now I switched to Paint Tool Sci on my computer because I really don't know how to record on the iPad on Clip Studio. That's what I've been using for the past couple months, and I got my iPad back in, I'll say like February, and that's really the only thing I've been using since then. So but right now I'm on Paint Tool Sci, and I'm using my Wacom, a Wacom Intuos Pro. And it's still really nice. Like, honestly, the switch between the two is not much of a difference. Once you've drawn on one tablet, you've drawn on all tablets. So, but on my computer, I usually always used Paint Tool Sci. I recently got Clip Studio, and I have not used it on my computer yet. So I'm just probably gonna set everything like I do on my iPad, because honestly, on the computer, my setup is way different, so I don't use it. And I have not took the time to learn or set everything up yet. So eventually I'll get there, but Paint Tool Sci for me is just something I've been using for like years. Yep, so it took me, I'd say, in all, like 3 hours to do this picture. I took a lot of breaks. I always take breaks when I draw. Like, I'll get up and walk around and just stop looking at it. I think that's an important thing. Like, when you're drawing, especially looking at a screen, you have to, like, take freaking breaks. I don't see how people just sit and do the whole picture in one sitting. I cannot. I have to take walk away and just kind of close it and look at it again later and be like, okay. So usually, especially when I'm doing like bigger pieces, it'll take me like a whole day to work on it, because I don't like finishing things in one. I don't like sitting and finishing one picture in one whole go, because it makes me feel like I rushed it. So I want to take the time to like really see what can I change before I say, oh, I'm done. Right now I'm adding, I don't know I forgot the technical term for it, but it's like when you line art something and when you kind of add thicker lines and thinner lines to show the differences in thickness. You have to do that if you're doing line art because it shows like weight. So when I'm like lining something and then I go back over and add like a thicker line or a thinner line, it's like I do that to convey either there's more weight on this side or less weight. And man, I used to have the most difficult time like drawing fur for whatever reason. I still do, but not as much as I used to. It just would either come out too sticky looking. That's the term for it. I'll say, like, it will come out stiff. So I've finally gotten to a point now where I'm just like, okay, this looks fluffy. Like if I look at it and touch it, I would think it's fluffy. But everything takes time to learn. Like that's, to some people they'll be like that's just an obvious thing. Make it look fluffy. I'm like, okay, drawing it. How do you make it look fluffy? How do you make something look like when you touch it, it's gonna feel like this? You just have to study. Look at a bunch of animals, look at a bunch of people's art, and say, okay, their picture looks fluffy, or this photograph looks fluffy. Why doesn't mine? And just try to compare and contrast, and try to just, you know, I guess get it as close to you can to what you're studying. Okay, again, so here I'm adding more thickness to the outside of Eevee's face because I want to show that it's thicker. Like there has to be a difference in line weight, and I didn't really know about line weight until I went to art class. I never went to art school or anything. I'm self-taught. So I took art classes in school, and when I went to college, I took one art class, and that really didn't help with anything because my professor was very anti-anime, anti anything that wasn't realistic looking. Of course, that's the story of like everybody's art teacher. Like my high school art teacher was like more supportive of this type of stuff, but you know, when I went to college, at least my teacher was just like, nah, you need to do everything by the book, realistic, no anime styles or any stylistic art. No, they wanted everything to look like it came out of a museum. I mean, that's fine and dandy for the people who want to post or put their art in museums, but I'm like not one of those type of people, so I'm just like, man, this ain't the class for me. But originally I wanted to go to Ringling or what's the name? The college in Savannah. I think the Savannah College of Art. I still have the book and everything, but I just, you know, you see those prices and you're just like, nah. I think back when I was in high school, the tuition was around $20,000 to $30,000 a semester, and I could barely afford the $5,000 a semester I was spending going to my college. And I'm like, okay, you know, how in the world am I gonna afford to go to this school? There's just no way. So I'm like anti-college. I'm just like, you know what, forget it. Honestly, like a lot of this stuff you can learn on your own. You don't really have to go to school. You can just look at YouTube videos and figure out how and why people do things. Like as far as going behind what they're thinking, that's the real thing. For anybody learning anything, you have to find out what they're thinking behind behind the art. So I'd say for people studying animation, study cartoons and TV shows and just watch them and kind of stop them in between, like just pause it every couple seconds and just study like how are they moving, how are their bones moving as they're doing these motions. Like you have to break everything down. Okay, now so I'm finally about to start adding color. And on paint tool side, when I add color, I always start with like a gray for whatever. There's no real reason. I just like to color the whole, everything that I'm coloring, I'm gonna color in gray so that I know what I haven't colored. So for Pikachu's eyes, I struggled with that. It's just, for some reason, they kept having that uncanny valley feeling. So I had to keep going over it like 3 or 4 times to make sure they looked cute and not creepy. And they still, I'm looking at them now and I'm like, okay, they're cute. I could have did, a little bit better, but hey, it's everything's a learning process. So after you do something, like if you do a picture and there's something about it you just don't like, either edit it or learn next time and see. My problem is I'll stare at the picture when I'm done with it until I just like hate it. But there's a positive to that, because the next time that I work on another picture, I'll take that lesson from the last picture and be like, okay, I need to implement this next time or change this, instead of continuously fixing on the last picture I did. Because if you keep editing the last picture or the last anything that you do, you're never gonna get it done. And I'm the type of person, like, when I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I don't look at it anymore. I don't want to touch it anymore. It's done. It's either a fail or a pass. But every fail can have a positive impact on your next piece of work. So people always ask, how do you get better at drawing? How do you get better at doing this or that? Do it, and it might suck ass, but at least you did it. And with the next picture, it'll look better, or hopefully you'll learn from the last mistake. Yeah, I was deciding here if I wanted to add like little, I don't know what you call them, but like whisker marks to Eevee's face, and then I kind of changed my mind, like, nah, I don't want every animal to look like a dog or look like a fox. What is Eevee? Is Eevee a fox? I think he's a she, it is a fox dog. I'm not really sure. But another thing when you're drawing anything is to, of course, always look at reference. When you draw something to the point where you don't need reference, that's cool and dandy, but I don't know why people have this personal vendetta or something against looking up references. You always need a reference. If you don't know what you're drawing, you're not gonna know how to draw it. Did I say that right? Whatever. But you have to know what you're looking at. So if I've never seen Eevee before, how will I draw Eevee? If I've never seen Pikachu, how would I draw Pikachu? You gotta look at reference. Now I'm adding shadows, and I'm still studying drawing, adding or implementing shadows, because it's a weird, complicated process. You just have to, it's not really too complicated, it's just knowing where the light's hitting. But on a picture that's not 3D, it's kind of hard to imagine where the light's hitting unless you're just used to it. But you have to study it. Everything has to be studied. So right now I'm trying to imagine Pikachu's ears being like circular, because they look circular. So you have to make the shadow also look like it's wrapping around a circle. And you know what? looking back at this, I wish I would have like added some hearts to Eevee's eyes, because it would have made it look so much more adorable. So it's like looking back, I'm recording this in the future, looking back at this, and I'm just like, man, I could have added this and that and this. But again, it's a learning process. So you draw something a year ago and look at it now, you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is utter trash. But that's a good thing, because that means that you're improving. So day by day, hour by hour, it's something. If you're looking at art or studying art at all, you're gonna learn something new. And yeah, Eevee's eyes, I was just like, I don't know what to do. I should have like looked at my reference more, because the reference is like right there. It's like, do it like this, and I'm just like, no, I want to do it my own way. I like the way I did it, but at the same time, I wish I would have added more color. Okay, another thing that I see that I did was I added like a fleshy pink tone to show that it kind of showed that that the picture is living. Okay, so like with Pikachu, I added like a pinkish, it's probably barely noticeable, but I added like a pinkish tone to make it look like there's actually like blood running through through his body. Like on a person, if you draw any human, like especially a Caucasian person, you would put pink tones on probably like the elbow. I see people do this a lot, putting pink tones on the elbows and like around the cheeks, because it makes it seem like that they're more alive. It shows that the blood is actually rushing through them, and people are more than one color. So a black person is not just brown. A Caucasian person is not just white or peach. You have to add different tones to make it seem like they're actually alive. And if you flat color somebody and don't add anything extra, it just makes it look like a drawing. But you want every drawing to look like it's living, it's breathing. So you have to implement things to make it look like it's living and breathing. So now I'm reaching the end. I'm actually done with it. I was trying to play around with colors to see what I wanted for the background, and I eventually decided to just leave it just white. But no, that was it. It's a nice, cute little drawing. It was something quick, and honestly, I like it. So let me know what you guys think, and if you want anything specific drawn or any requests. I cannot say the word requests. Just let me know and put your whatever you want drawn in the comments. Hopefully on the next video I'll draw either a dragon from Spyro or whoever. That's what I'm leaning towards for my next video. So again, y'all let me know. Put your comment down, or put your response down in the comments. Whoever you want drawn, whoever you want requested, let me know. So I'm done with this. Again, yep, my name is Teriyaki, and I'll see you guys in the next video.